Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I'm so glad that you are here. In today's video, we're going to be setting up our happy planners for the month of December. We're on to the final stretch of 2019, and right before we ring in 2020, I thought that we would just have some fun and sort of see where that takes us. So I'm going to be playing with some washi tapes, some stamps. I'm adding a couple of things from another planner that has nothing to do with Happy Planner. So I kind of wanted you guys to join me in the most festive month of the year and let's have some fun together. But before we dive right in, if this is the first time that we are meeting, well, thank you so much for coming by and sharing your time and your space with me here. We usually chat about 2 to 3 times a week on this channel, and we dive into anything from spirituality and spiritual practices and mindfulness and anxiety management and just how to live a more consciously driven life. So if that sounds good, consider subscribing. You're absolutely going to love it here. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the video. Let's just talk about my t-shirt because it's a Mickey Mouse t-shirt. I don't know why I found it, but I found it. Now, this is not going to give you any hints as to what the theme is for this month, because obviously the theme is going to be holiday and festive. But one thing that I wanted to kind of show you that is something that's new. I went to Michael's recently and I picked up an ink pad that is like an ombre colored, right? Right. I know. If you love pastels, I would highly recommend something like this because you actually get a beautiful ombre effect. If you have some silicone stamps, then like they look absolutely stunning. And the other thing that I wanted to use is just this regular in their recollections, the Christmas edition. They also had some gold ink pad, so I picked that up as well. So I have played around with this mainly because we were setting up some invitations for my daughter's birthday, which happens to be in December. So I thought, well, why not just use it in your spread? So that's what we're going to be playing with in a couple of minutes. But then also, I wanted to show you the planner that I have. I have the Desire Map Planner from Danielle Laporte. And right now we're on to the last month. So she gives you like the full monthly spread and everything's filled in, which I really appreciate. Like a lot of the times I end up using this for more content creation or like more using that as like a calendar, as an editorial calendar. But then I also enjoy the last little bit of the prompts that she gives you at the very end of each month. So I thought, well, I never really use them in here, but if it's in my Happy Planner, I think that I'm really craving reflections. And here you actually get some, it's called a reflection and envision. So what spaces or places embody your core desired feelings. So it becomes very mindful, very intentional. So I figured out a way that we can take this and then put it into our Happy Planner. And so that's what I'm going to be using because I wanted that active reminder on a week-to-week basis or a month-to-month basis where I just start paying more attention to how I want to really conduct my life on a month-to-month basis. And especially when you're taking some time to reflect back on the previous month, you really learn all of the things. Like it forces you to like, it gives you a prompt for what you're grateful for, what was not working, what you want to stop doing. I will show you a close-up of this so you can kind of take a look. But every time I look at that planner, I always kind of think, oh, that would be so nice to be able to include into my Happy Planner. And then I thought, well, why don't I just cut it down and then attach it into my Happy Planner, because then that way it becomes, removable. So we'll see how that one goes. But I'm very excited because like with Christmas and with the holidays coming up, it becomes a very busy and very condensed month, but it also becomes like a lot of movement, a lot of energy flowing, and it becomes a really beautiful time of the year. Like I personally love December, especially when the snow starts falling and it just becomes like such a sacred time of the year that it's like you have the opportunity to see nature's wonderland. Anyway, enough babbling. Let's just put some music on and then let's get going with the planning, shall we? So I don't know about you guys, but I've been finding that whenever I start planning, I need to have some candles set up. Okay, now we are beginning with the first page for December. So for some reason, I just decided to just dive right in and start filling out the entire page before I actually decorate it. let's just get you guys zoomed in a little bit. And here we go. I'm going to begin after I kind of fill out. I really love this page where you can kind of write down what you're loving, what you're reading, what has been kind of going on with you in the last little bit. Okay, so here I'm currently reading The Full Catastrophe Living. I'm planning my next cruise vacation because we all need that. I'm watching Working Moms, which I've been really enjoying. I don't know about you guys. And I'm eating tons of curry, which happens to be one of the warming foods that are really warming my heart. I'm loving the holiday season and I'm feeling way more control in my business. And I'm listening to East for Us and actually, surprisingly, the Jonas Brothers. If you haven't heard their new album, highly recommend it. And we're celebrating lots of birthdays this month. This month is very congested with birthdays. And we are also somewhat going to celebrate the reopening of my wellness clinic. So obviously I'm expanding my team a little bit more and I'm writing all of that fun stuff in right now. Okay, let's zoom you out and here we go. So once I fill this page in, then you will see that I'm going to begin decorating it. And I wanted to do something very minimal as far as decoration is concerned. So I didn't show you this in the intro, but I am using like a thicker washi tape. And I really enjoy the way that it ended up looking like. I didn't really feel like this page needed too much as far as decoration was concerned. I also left a quick note to remember to delegate. That has been one of my biggest mindset shifts that I wanted to kind of pay attention to. Ironically enough, as I just showed you the candles, I decided to create my own candles. So I'm going to be getting into like this large candle production mode really soon, playing with lots of scents and lots of combination. Apparently you can kind of mix and match with butters and waxes. It's quite exciting. I tried to play with which type of washi tape would be the most suitable for this page. I ended up using just like little snowflakes around the border where it says top events and right where the birthdays are. And the rest of the time I'm using this really festive looking like old school truck with the snowman and the Christmas trees. I thought that it just looked absolutely adorable. My only comment is that you don't see this on camera, but I went back and I actually used a whiteout around the washi. And if you can use a whiteout underneath your washi tape, it'll just make a huge difference as far as how your page actually ends up looking like. Here we go. Now we can actually get started with the monthly view. And here I'm kind of following along with that same washi tape that I used. I absolutely love it. It's just like old school, rustic. Like I don't know about you guys, but it always kind of reminds me of like the Coca-Cola original Coca-Cola design and like how that was advertised back in a day. I'm using like just a little X-Acto knife cutter just to kind of cut off the excess, and we are good to go here. I added that same washi into the bottom of the page as well. I thought that I kind of brought it together really nicely, and because I didn't really have a ton of space in the bottom of the page from the first to the third. And then I just kind of ended up using the accent in the bottom of the second page, as you can tell. Now this little bow, it took me a minute to kind of find a spot for it. I thought that it just looks absolutely adorable. It's like a golden colored just tiny little bows, and I had this washi, this third one, that had all of these little writings on them. I could not fit it anywhere because I wanted it to be long enough where it actually shows as an accent. So I ended up kind of just skipping that. And we're back with some snowflakes, which I thought that was also very festive. Relatively easy to add pretty much anywhere you want to add like little accent, just little accent pieces. And here I'm using the Celebrations, I believe it's called the Celebrations package. Basically, it's a kit that you can get that's all about, it's all the decorative pieces that are in there. Obviously, I'm highlighting the birthday parties and the birthday celebrations, which happens to be coming up this weekend. I never really knew what to do with those huge balloons, but now I sort of understand that I can just add it in for a full day. See, this is the kit that I was telling you about. I'm using also one for New Year's Eve. It says let's party. And I couldn't help myself, so I just had to kind of start like using the pen and just start filling everything in. So I'm also putting in like when I actually have any date nights or anything extra that's happening. And for that, I have this Essentials Mini, which happens to be like the most useful thing ever because it just has to see like how small those little stickers are. And I think that those are actually perfect, not for dailies, but for monthlies. And then here we go. So I went back and I was just kind of done with all of the stickers. So I wanted to really show you the gold ink pad, and I'm using just like this little floral design, but then I had another one that kind of looks like a wreath. I'm using it as a wreath. I realize that it's a flower, whatever. And I bought one. Now, all of you yogis out there, you will absolutely appreciate this. I bought like a full stamp kit that's all dedicated to yoga. So we're going to have like a full weekend with yoga teacher training on the 28th and on the 29th, which is kind of a nice break. Like now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I think it's going to be a really nice break from the holidays a little bit and from family, and it'll allow me to kind of move a little bit more. So I just wanted to put like a yogi girl right at the very end of the month there. And I'm also using one stamp that says good vibes, because we always need some good vibes. Now, I do think that, like, I think it looks fine the way that it does, but part of me will probably end up going back and just coloring over them just a little bit so that we fill in the color. But honestly, you can also just leave it just the way that it is. I think it looks perfectly fine. And I wanted to add, I realized that I didn't really leave much space for any motivational messages or anything, but I kind of wanted to match the color scheme of everything else. So I just grabbed this small little sticker that says reach for the stars. And here, like, these small little stamps are so useful. So I'm just going back in with the gold and I just kind of sprinkle them all over the place because I'm not really filling too much in for the monthly view just yet. So plus, part of me kind of enjoys leaving it a little bit more bare until you're ready to kind of fill it in. Okay, let's move on to the weekly setup, which is the week that we're on, hence why this video is a little bit late, and I'm sorry. Once again, I get to use the stamp set that I showed you a moment ago, the yoga stamp set. And remember, if you remember from the very beginning of the video, I showed you that ink set that was sort of like the ombre color. Well, this is what it looks like on an actual stamp. I think it looks absolutely stunning. Okay, here I got a little bit smarter. I'm using the whiteout so that I can get rid of that dark lining for the weekly. And the stamps just say Little Winter Wonderland, and it just kind of repeats. But I really love the pink vibe, and I didn't realize that my theme for this week is definitely going to be very dominant in pink and like light, just like very light color. I think that it ended up being a little bit more congested than I want, but I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like I personally like it when, you know, I can kind of just decorate it the way that I want. So Here, this is the kit that I have that's all about decoration. So once again, I'm going back in to put all of the stickers in for celebrating the birthdays this weekend. Okay, so I'm back to using the stamps, and honestly, I didn't realize that I didn't really press down hard enough, but it's like this large bouquet of just like these garden flowers. I just kind of wanted them to be just in the bottom. Okay, with regards to the washi tape, so I wanted to add something fun and festive, like right where the birthdays are happening. You see me putting that on, but I end up like removing it later because I just thought that it was just not making too much sense to leave it there. This is a new kit, the Glam Girl kit. And again, like if you kind of look at all of the colors, I think that they work really, really well together. And because I didn't want to constantly use like these blocks of stickers, I wanted something slightly different. And then I think that this kit is perfect for that. Okay, so you will see like a lot of flipping through. I literally went through about 4 to 5 different books just to kind of find like the right color theme, and for the life of me, I could barely find any like small blocks of stickers that I can just use for like putting in either an exercise or just put in like appointments. So I don't know, like I found this spread to be a little bit more challenging to fill. And so I found myself like going through quite a few books and quite a few sets just so that I can kind of have the proper color theme. I don't know, like this is sort of the moment when I really I become very motivated to just create my own sticker sets because I feel like I'm sort of missing certain things. And then eventually I do find, by the way, that strip I end up moving it later on. Although like now looking at it, it does not look half bad with the washi. Like again, color theme wise, it works okay. But still, like it just at the time as I was setting this up, it just felt like it didn't feel like it was flowing, if you know what I mean. I don't know, maybe you guys have the same thing happen when you've just been working on a spread for a little while and then you just kind of get frustrated. Well, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just flipping through a lot of different books just so that I can fill in visually what I want for the weekend that sort of represents what I'm actually looking for. Because if you're seeing a lot of flipping through, then the struggle is real. That's all I'm going to say. And here I just kind of slowed down the footage so you can take a look at approximately you have a basic idea of how everything looks at the end. So first things first, we're going to cut off this excess. So I have my little cutter here. So now we can add it into our entire spread here. So here, I just wanted to show you guys the close-up. So reflect and envision the core desire feeling closest to my heart, what you're grateful for, what was not working, what you want to stop doing. And we're going to skip this page. And then we're going to come right over to declaration and encouragement. So enthusiasm is the heightened state of consciousness, relationship and organization, and any soul prompts. And if you want, what I also enjoy about these planners is that, as you can tell, this bottom corner is perforated, so you can actually take this off. This one says comfortable. On the back of it says luminous. So there's all of these different just soul prompt and like powerful words that you can kind of take with you for the month. Thank you so much for taking the time to join with me right here in this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you are new and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another video. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments if you have tried anything from the Desire Map Plan, or if you have tried anything from Danielle Laporte, and how did you enjoy that planner versus the Happy Planner, and did you try to add any prompts into your Happy Planner that would sort of mimic that? I would be really curious to find out. And in the meanwhile, tag me on your creations if you haven't already. I would love to see some of your spreads that you do create on Instagram. I will just pop my Instagram name here so that you can find me there, and I would love to see some of your creations as well. So please tag me on them. I would love to see them. And in the meanwhile, happy planning, you guys, and just keep shining. And I will see you guys again in my next video.